Arlene Rondo, and I'm the Vice President, Best Practices for Leonardo's online merchandising group, and I will be your host for today's webinar event. We're going to be talking about targeting your ideal guest, and in particular, how you can develop content and a marketing strategy that gets the business traveler to choose you. So welcome to everyone around the globe, and a special thanks to those for whom it may be the middle of the night. A special thanks for joining us in the wee hours. So a few housekeeping items before we begin. First, we're going to be recording today's webinar, and at the conclusion of our session, we'll send you a thank you for joining us email with a link to that recording, which you can share or listen to again at your leisure. Additionally, you have a questions dialog box in your GoToMeeting panel. And as we move through our discussion today, please feel free to send in your questions, and we'll address them throughout the webinar as well as at the end of the presentation. I see some of you have already found that questions dialog box. You've been sending us greetings as we've been waiting for the event to begin. So please continue to do that. We're also going to be tweeting during today's discussion, so please feel free to join in the conversation at hashtag LeoWebinar. And just having a little bit of a GoToMeeting issue with showing the slides, so bear with us. Okay, we're back on track here. I'm going to launch a poll because it's really important to us that we understand where you guys are coming from, and it helps us during our presentation to gauge what your concerns are, and so we can direct our dialogue to that. So I've just launched a poll, and the question we'd like you to answer is, what is your biggest challenge in targeting the business traveler? So you have four answers rather to choose from: understanding what's important to business travelers, how to fine-tune my story to their interests, how to keep them engaged throughout their stay, and then lastly, there's limited time to create a targeted plan, so how can I do that a little better? And so folks are weighing in. Right now it looks like it's neck and neck between understanding what's important to how to fine-tune my story, and then followed by limited time, of course. You know, there are never enough hours in the day. And then lastly, how to keep them engaged during their stay. So the majority of folks have voted, and I'm going to close the poll at this point. Thanks very much for voting. We appreciate that. And we are going to continue with our webinar. First, I would like to introduce Nathan Brooks. Nathan Brooks brings more than 15 years of travel experience to his role. And again, we're just having a little bit of an issue here with GoToMeeting. I'm going to close the poll and see if I can get this screen sharing to work properly. Okay. You should be seeing Nathan's picture shortly. Thanks for bearing with us, guys, during these technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, so to continue with our introduction of Nathan, Nathan is the Director of Client Services for Egencia, and he's been with Expedia since 2010 with roles within Expedia's lodging partnership group and Egencia's air and hotel supply, as well as on the consulting teams. Previously, Nathan has held positions at United Airlines and American Airlines, as well as various sales and operational roles at hotels in the Phoenix area. Nathan earned an MBA from Indiana University in Bloomington and a Bachelor of Science in Management from Arizona State University in Tempe. Welcome, Nathan. Thanks for joining us today. I'd also like to introduce our second guest speaker, Rupesh Patel. Rupesh is the President and Chief Operating Officer of Zenique Hotels in Burlingame, California. And since co-founding Zenique, Rupesh has operated well-known hotel brands like Hilton, Intercontinental, Wyndham, and La Quinta. Owning and operating over 10 hotels in the Bay Area, Rupesh's passion for hospitality and the guest experience has really helped him build prosperous relationships to shape a company that's innovative, unique, and an industry leader. And some of Rupesh's most impressive work can actually be seen at the La Quinta Inn and Suites San Jose Airport, where he planned and implemented a multi-million-dollar renovation and doubled revenue in just 2 years. Additionally, the property moved from number 43 of 73 to number 1 on TripAdvisor and was awarded Best Renovation of 2013. Rupesh has received many awards and accolades over the years, including being named Leonardo's Merchandising Hero, one of the youngest executives to receive this honor. And Rupesh also holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Public Administration and City Planning from San Diego State University. Welcome, Rupesh. Glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I'd also like to introduce Melissa Bruckler. Melissa is the e-commerce and revenue management consultant for Granite Hospitality, with over 20 years of hospitality experience in positions ranging from hotel operations, opening task force, systems installation, and various management positions. Melissa earned a bachelor's in hotel management from Northern Arizona University. And Melissa, so glad to have you with us today as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Melissa. And at this stage, I am going to pass the mouse over to Nathan, and he will continue from here. Nathan, you should have control of the board. Just a second. Yeah, just a second, Nathan. Yeah, try your mouse, see if that's working for you.
It is giving me a show my screen rather than your screen.
Okay. Let me, I guess it's just going to be one of those days with issues go-to meetings. So let me see what I can do here. No, I may have to move those slides for you, Nathan.
And that's perfectly fine.
And again, we're having the same issue with the audience not being able to see the screen. So let me see if I can fix this. Here we go. So Nathan, all yours.
Perfect. And good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone out there in the wonderful world that we live in here. Once again, thanks very much for having the opportunity and to speak to you. And what I'd like to share with you is really some thoughts and some vision that we see here at Egencia in terms of what technology has from an impact to a business traveler, as well as the future of business traveler, and understanding how business travelers operate and how you can potentially target them from a hotel perspective to be able to maximize your share within your competitive set. And really what we see first is that the future is here. Technology is pervasive in the sense of there is more technology, more ways to find content, whether it's hotel content or really anything out there in the world. And so what happens is that we continue to see the lines between business and leisure blur. And every generation, particularly the younger generation, is expecting more out of whether it's a hotel, whether it's out of a travel management company, or really just in general. And travelers are really looking at leisure solutions, such as Expedia, such as Hotels.com, and really demanding that out of their business travel to be able to say, I want this experience that I'm getting on a leisure type environment on my business travel experience. And so from that perspective, Egencia is really on the forefront of being able to really drive towards that and be able to understand what business travel looks like and be able to provide that solution to business travelers across the world. An example of that is in 2000. This is a shot of St. Peter's Square in the Vatican City in 2005, when the previous pope was elected into I guess office would be the best word that I could look at. And there's 2013 when the next pope was elected. The technology and the mobility of technology is really driving huge advances in the way that folks view the world, as well as the impact of having devices that allow them to do much more things than they've ever had in the past.
I really love that example, Nathan. It clearly demonstrates the point. And I'd like to remind the audience that you can send in your questions throughout our presentation in the questions panel in your GoToMeeting dialog box. So please keep sending in those questions. And here you go, Nathan.
Absolutely. So really want to answer the question of who are business travelers and what are they doing when they're out on the road. Expedia and Egencia have co-sponsored a study of business travelers to really understand not only what business travelers do, but also the blend of what we would call the bleisure traveler. In the last couple of days, Expedia and Egencia have actually released a study on the bleisure traveler, talking about the blending of what travelers do when they're out on the road, whether it's business, leisure, or a combination, because we're increasingly seeing a combination of particular millennials that are out there combining business with leisure from a travel experience. 75% of travelers that we see are using smartphones and tablets when both for personal and for business use. And also, 42% of millennial travelers report that they spend more on high-end meals when the company's paying relative to when they're paying. 37% would spend more money on room service versus 21% of 46 to 65-year-olds, for example. 53% of business travelers say that location is the most important feature when booking travelers, so location, location, location. And really what we're seeing, in addition, is that the lines between business and leisure are completely blurring. With the founding of Expedia, suddenly travelers could research, shop, and book travel without an agent. And really what we're seeing is business travelers expecting the same type of environment. So it's not who are they, it's really when are they business travelers.
I think that when I saw that slide, Nathan, that really hit home for me to reframe that question from who to when, because as your slides so cleverly illustrate, they're the same people, right?
Exactly, and it's really about when are they looking and where are they looking for that various experience. So what do business travelers want? And this goes not only for travel management companies, but solutions in general. They're looking for solutions that are consumer inspired. They want best-in-class design, quality experience, choice, and integrated with everyday productivity tools. They want things to be integrated with their Outlook and their expense tools. And they're looking for relevant content based on where they travel and what their expectations out in the marketplace are. They're also looking for integrated solutions. They're looking for that social, being able to tell people during pre, during, and post-trip where they are. They're looking for flexibility and empowerment in the sense of they're looking for self-service apps and being able to call an agent if they need to. And they're also looking for that intelligent service platform to be able to have opportunities to be able to, for what they call an agent, that the agent knows who they are, where they're traveling, and what their potential needs are as they're traveling. And they're looking for that experience not only through a travel management company, but across the trip experience.
Nathan, the information you were talking about, the new study that you just released, generated a lot of questions from the audience. Violet, among others, are asking, where can they get that new study that you just released on bleisures?
So you can actually get it from the Expedia, from ExpediaInc.com. As part of our press releases that as well as the content. So the press release is there as well as the content.
Great. And Rachel from the audience also has a question, and I think it's more of a general question. You know, she's wondering, do millennial business travelers use technology differently than other generations? And you might not have the specific stat at your fingertips, but just a sense of who do you think uses technology more?
Oh, yeah, I think it's very pervasive in the sense of everyone uses technology, but folks use technology different. Millennials are much more, we tend to see millennials be much more dispassionate about using the authorized, whether it's a booking tool or whether it's a travel management company or whether it's a corporate policy. They're looking at multiple different whether it's apps or websites or whatever, to be able to find the content that's most relevant for them, and they're less concerned about, in a traditional sense, about policy enforcement. And so from Egencia's perspective, that's why we're building things like, for example, the Trip Navigator app that we'll talk about here in a second, so that we can get all that content as well as that user experience into the hands of millennial travelers so that they feel comfortable, and it's a seamless process to go from a leisure trip to a corporate trip.
Gotcha.
And to that point, we're really looking towards driving trips, not transactions. It's a overall experience. So if you think of Facebook or Twitter or any of those other social devices, we want to be able to build the technology, whether it's in mobile or desktop, for folks to be able to share their trips, whether it's with coworkers or their boss, to be able to say, here's what I've booked. Please book the same thing, or at least look to be able to see if that's an option for you. They want to be able to change things very quickly. They want seamless technology. They don't want to have to book something online and then call an agent because it's not necessarily synced. They want one source of record, and they want to be able to say to their boss or to their agent, this is the trip I booked online. It should be seamless all the way through. And it should be cloud-based in the sense of we want to be able to provide real-time data, whether it's flight changes, flight cancellations, any type of weather, maps, those types of things. Travelers, in particular millennial travelers, are looking for a seamless technology that provides them everything that they need so they don't have to bounce back and forth between apps. And Egencia, through our Trip Navigator app, is providing that to travelers.
Excellent.
So the question becomes, how do you target business travelers? And in the world of an online booking tool such as Egencia, sort order matters. We see about 70% of our bookings coming from the first page of results. So maximizing your participation with a travel management company or any other channel is critically important. Participating in things like preferred hotel programs, doing any type of advertising or marketing that you're able to do, providing value adds to travelers, making sure your content is up to date, whether it's photos, reviews, really being as in tune to how you're positioned on an online booking tool, as well as the content you're able to provide to business travelers, is critically important to your success.
And this is a question/comment from Karen in the audience, and I think it talks to that. She's wondering, does the mobile app take the control away from the travel management company? And I think what you're saying, Nathan, is it just makes the experience easier. So you're still dealing with the TMC or the Egencia app, but they're still in the loop. You're still in the loop.
Yeah, I would actually argue that it puts more control in the travel manager's hands. As long as you're providing a seamless experience. So in the example of an Egencia Trip Navigator, because our app is tied 100% to a corporation's policy, it gives the end user or the traveler that same policy and compliance experience, but on every single type of platform that a business traveler would use. So the policy on a last-minute booking is exactly the same, but because we're giving them that content and giving them that mobile-specific content in conjunction with a travel policy, it is a very powerful tool for a business travel manager to be able to say, I'm going to give you the experience you're looking for from a consumer type, as well as all the content, but also ensure that as much as I can that folks are following the policy and the procedures of my company.
That's an excellent.
As well as giving that duty of care, which is most important to
Yeah, exactly. Excellent point. To just summarize what Nathan just took us through, you really want to communicate your proximity relative to key landmarks, restaurants, and transportation, because that's really important to the business traveler. And then, as Nathan said, sort order is hugely important. And so is communicating value and a targeted story to get that business travel based on what they care about. People today, work on vacation, they extend a business trip to hang with friends or family. So creating messages that clearly communicate what you have to offer to make this sort of new crossover traveler comfortable during their stay is really going to be important. So thanks, Nathan. Really great insights and tons of questions from the audience. So thanks again for sharing that with us. So now I'm going to reintroduce Rupesh Patel, and Rupesh is going to talk to us about the same subject from his perspective at Zenique Hotels. Rupesh?
Thanks, Darlene. Hello, everybody, and thanks for having me on today and allowing me to share some insight. As Darlene mentioned, my name is Rupesh Patel, and I'm the President and Chief Operating Officer of Zenique Hotels. And I'll be sharing some insight on how all of you can conduct effective target marketing. So why is targeting important? Targeting is important because we have so many different types of clientele that visit and stay with our properties. And as our goal as hoteliers is to provide the best experience for all of them, no matter what type of traveler they are. These segments include, but aren't limited to, family travelers, couple travelers, and the one that we'll be focusing on today, the business traveler. Now, when each of these travelers are looking for a hotel, they're looking and are interested in certain features or amenities that each offer in order to make the selection of where they'll be staying during their travel. The best way to highlight these different features and amenities are to give the online shopper a visual of them in your hotel, taking advantage of the feature or amenity that they are interested in. Let's take the family traveler. If your hotel offers a complimentary breakfast or has an attractive breakfast buffet that a family can take advantage of before heading out for the day, you want to showcase this in your photos. As you see in one of the photos, it looks like it kind of got pushed into the back, but a family enjoying a breakfast. It looks like the animation is a little backfired, but of showing a picture of a family enjoying breakfast allows them to see how their experience will be when their family stays at your hotel. You may also have a nice pool area that families like to enjoy, so you can highlight a family in the pool area, as you see in the picture on the back top left corner. Again, the photo shows happiness, relaxation, and the most important for parents, the children having fun. Now let's take the couple traveler. A couple traveler may be looking for a romantic getaway, so displaying a photo of a couple enjoying some of your romantic amenities or even romantic packages that you may offer will help them see how their experience can and will be at your hotel. Hotel bars are also another attractive feature for couples, as you see in the image on the right-hand side. Now let's take the business traveler. Business travelers look for features and amenities that are crucial to the success of their presentation, interview, training, whatever it is that they're traveling for in regards to business. You really want to highlight all of your business amenities in your hotel, such as a meeting room. A business traveler may need to conduct a conference or training on the whim. Highlighting the fact that you have meeting space will help the traveler make their choice, knowing that they have that option. You definitely want to show your technology your hotel offers, such as the two photos in front that you see here. This image here shows a media hub that allows you to connect a laptop and electronics to it. Now, this image actually could have been better for this hotel if it displayed the laptop actually being connected to the TV as an extended monitor, as not all business travelers can visualize this. However, you can explain this in the captions of your photos, which are also very important in describing what the amenity is that you're displaying. So another thing to keep in mind is to have descriptive captions for each image, enhancing its effect. Business centers are another key feature that business travelers rely on. You definitely want to highlight this, as well as any other special business amenity you may have, such as mobile printing. So how does Zenique Hotels target? A key tool that we use for digital marketing is actually a tool that Leonardo offers. We're currently using VivoSure, which is being migrated to the newly designed Visly. This tool allows you to showcase all of your amenities and features with videos, 360-degree tours, photos, and much more. What you see here is our general layout and format. However, Visly offers the capability of creating different platforms for different market segments. We're actually in the process of building a platform of individual platforms, one for weddings, one for corporate traveler, one for youth sports and couples, and much more. In each of these platforms that we build, we'll have a different set of photos that will cater to each corresponding traveler or travel segment. Having different templates for each is key as you're maximizing the visual experience the traveler has with your hotel online. When your sales teams are sending proposals for a key account or a group, wedding group, youth sports group, whatever it is, you can send a link to that Visly platform that is created towards that specific segment, and that'll highly increase the potential of closing the deal because it allows them to be able to see exactly what they're looking for and visually seeing themselves in your hotel. Visly is also distributed to all different channels that these travelers use to book hotels, including Nathan's Egencia booking tools. You can use different platforms for different sites. The key in each of these targeted platforms or images that you display online is allowing the traveler to see themselves in your hotel for the purpose of their travel. Focusing again on the business traveler, mobile implementation is a big key in targeting and capturing reservations, as Nathan also explained. The business traveler is constantly on the go, and as many are on the road for most of their work week, more and more business travelers are making reservations or searching for hotels on their mobile devices, whether it be a tablet or smartphone. Ensuring that your site is either mobile-friendly in layout or a fully integrated mobile site is key. Here you see two of our hotels' sites on an iPhone. The pages here look nice and are easily legible. However, some may need to zoom in and out when navigating. These two next examples are mobile sites where you can clearly see that they are easier to navigate and read through. Us as a company are actually in the process of developing fully integrated mobile sites, as you see here, across our portfolio. And something that actually pushed us towards investing in mobile sites is the growing number of hits we are receiving on our sites for mobile devices. As Nathan explained, 75% of travelers use mobile devices for their business and leisure needs. Displayed on the next slide here.
Hey, Rupesh, Laura from the audience has a question about this, and it's her question is, do you really think that having a mobile optimized site is that important, or the fact that your hotel website just can be accessed from a mobile device, is that good enough, or do you really need to go to the next level to have it optimized?
Mobile site is definitely key because the whole goal is to make an ease of booking. As you saw on the sites before these two popped up on our hotels, our website's there, but you have to zoom in. Sometimes it's trouble to click on the tab that you're exactly trying to click on, entering in dates. It can make it difficult to kind of navigate through the site, and a traveler may get frustrated and just, say, oh, I'll book it later, or, go on to the next.
Yes, and it looks like Dana and a bunch of other people in the audience agree wholeheartedly. It's absolutely important that your website be optimized for mobile. So thanks, everybody, for weighing in on that. And here is your next slide.
I actually just had some laptop trouble, but I'll try to go through it. Oh, there we go. As you see,
it just looks like today, Rupesh, we're having all kinds of technology issues. It's that kind of day.
Technology is our best friend, and sometimes it can, make things a little bit difficult. But as Nathan explained, 75% of our travelers use mobile devices for their business and leisure needs. Displayed on this site is the number of visits we received in 2013 and 2014 for one of our hotels. As you see, there was an increase of over 50% in visitors in 2014 compared to 2013. Breaking down this specific hotel, there was about 16 mobile visits on our site each day. Now, I'm sure each of you can do the math. If you were to capture even just one out of those 16 visits as a secured reservation, the revenues will just begin to add up. And the number of hits, the number of visitors is just going to be ever increasing as time goes on. With the increased number of mobile visits, you want to ensure that the mobile experience is just as clean, detailed, and thorough as a desktop experience. Just as I explained before, you want to make sure that the ease of booking is there. A mobile site will be sure to maximize this experience for those that are using mobile devices. A new type of traveler that has emerged, or a new term that has emerged in the travel industry, is the bleisure traveler. A bleisure traveler is one that combines business with leisure in a single trip. In order to target or create a bleisure traveler out of a business traveler is to give them a reason to stay longer. Highlighting surrounding attractions from your hotel, such as a theme park or a theater, as we highlight here at a Holiday Inn Express and Suites Modesto on our video on Bizly. If the business traveler sees a certain thing about your city that may be attractive to them, they may decide to extend their stay either before or after. Some may decide to bring their husband or wife and or children, extend their stay, and enjoy some of the area attractions. But if they find out about these attractions after they arrive to your hotel or arrive to your city, you're too late. So you need to make sure that they see the area attractions when they're looking for a hotel or when they're searching through your own hotel. A way to highlight the area attractions is with the Things to Do page, as we have right here on one of our websites at our La Quinta Inn & Suites San Jose Airport. This shows a map and a surrounding area and showing all the attractions. They can then click around on any of the attractions on the left-hand side of the page and see details as well as a link to that attraction's website. Being able to adjust their trip prior to them actually leaving their home is key to making a business traveler a leisure traveler.
And you know, the other thing, Rupesh, that we know consumers in general, in particular travelers, appreciate is when someone is being helpful and useful. And so by alerting the traveler to the fact that, hey, you know, you could tag a day on at either end of your trip, bring someone along, or just hang out by yourself. There are things to do in and around the neighborhood. Consumers and hotel shoppers really, really appreciate that useful information.
Definitely, and sometimes, you know, when business travelers come to large cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, you know, Miami, it's almost a given that there's things to do there because they're such big cities. Not all of us have hotels in major markets like that, so really expressing or displaying on your online story to the traveler that there is other things in your area, they're probably not going to know about it unless you show them.
Mm-hmm. No, excellent, excellent point. Thanks, Rupesh. Again, tons of questions coming in from the audience, so please keep those questions coming in the dialogue box. We really appreciate the fact that you're engaged and, you know, we can answer your questions real time. That's one of the beauties of a live webinar. So just to summarize what Rupesh has shared with us today, your hotel story should be visual, but also use descriptive text that expands on what you can offer the business travelers. So complement those visuals with words about an anticipated experience. And just as Nathan pointed out, and I know we're going to hear this from Melissa as well, you know, Rupesh reminded us, mobile is a must-have, not a nice-to-have, especially for the on-the-go business traveler. And, you know, it's just make sure it's optimized because it doesn't take many bookings to justify a good mobile presence. And we've seen just how pervasive mobile is and is becoming. And so that's one of the things I think all smart hotel marketers are focusing on, particularly in 2015, is to make that mobile experience a terrific one. And then turn business travelers into leisures by enticing them with a good story and a reason to extend their trip. So thanks very much, Nathan. Rupesh, sorry. Melissa, we are going to bring you up now. And again, Melissa is going to talk about this subject from her perspective at Granite Hospitality. Melissa, over to you.
Great. Good morning. Thank you for having me. So today we're talking really about targeting, and specifically targeting to the corporate traveler. Next slide, if it comes up, please.
Mm-hmm.
So, popped up quickly. So, leisure versus corporate. As Rupesh mentioned, each individual hotel is host to many different segments, both leisure and corporate. You need to speak to them differently. You're going to have different graphics based on who you're targeting. What do you offer? What services and amenities do you offer that meet those individual needs of that corporate or leisure traveler? You're going to differentiate your story based on their specific needs. And to a point, as Nathan discussed, the segmentation is based on when they travel. Many times, it's the same person with different needs based on when they're traveling. So you really do need to have a separation in your marketing and in your graphics based on the needs of who you are targeting. Next. So why corporate? Why spend any time on it? Well, over 482 million business trips occurred globally in 2014. And business travel spending is expected to grow by almost 8% in 2015. So really, I mean, the question is, why not corporate? If you're not targeting corporate, that should be on your list of to-dos in 2015. U.S. business travel spending is expected to increase to over $310 billion and almost 500 million trips in 2015. It's a major segment.
Budgets are back. We're hearing that across the industry, certainly individual corporate travelers as well as groups. And so there's never been a better time, since the opportunity is so great, right, Melissa, to target and convince these people that you're the right place for them to stay.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So obviously from those statistics, business travelers are an important channel. As with any guest, they're more likely to book with a hotel that speaks to their personal needs and preferences. Social channels. Social channels are important, but you might be surprised to see that social marketing or social media is a marketing option for corporate travelers. Keep in mind, again, this has been mentioned by both Nathan and Rupesh, keep in mind that corporate guest is also the leisure guest. They're all dressed up for work. When the corporate traveler comes home at the end of the day, he or she is a leisure traveler. Many times the corporate guest will combine business with pleasure or take a spouse or the family with them. So they'll be looking for different features that target leisure but also address their corporate needs.
And Melissa, before we continue, Rachel from the audience has an interesting question. She's saying, do you really think it's worth focusing on corporate travelers if you're not in a big city?
Well, I would say you have to evaluate who is coming in. Is your 100% of the guests coming into your market leisure? Why are they coming in? Because I'll tell you, I have a couple of hotels that are in leisure markets, but we've seen a transition in those leisure markets to corporate in the past several years. So we're now, used to be we were always busy on weekends. Now we actually have a bigger push during weekdays. So it may be worth it if you spend some time evaluating what's happening in your market, and maybe it's the fact that you're not tapping into potential that's there. Mm-hmm. And I would also make one more comment is, and we'll talk about some of the features through Visually and VFM Leonardo. It's really not costly to even try it out. So I might even suggest, even if you feel like you're not in a corporate market, work with your VFM rep, have them help you create a corporate brochure, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. There's no cost to it. It doesn't take that much time. Throw it out there. See if you get any pickup on.
That's a good point, Melissa.
So how do you discover your corporate or your story? I mean, we've talked about this in other webinars. You find your hotel's corporate story similar to how you find their leisure story. You talk to your guests. You listen to them. Read reviews. TripAdvisor is huge. Facebook is huge. Read the reviews of your competitors. What are people saying when they're visiting your competitors? You can pick up a lot of great information from your guests by just listening to them and engaging them.
That's a really good point, because they're going to tell you what is interesting to them and what's important to them. And when you listen and read, your story starts to get crafted for you and framed for you.
Mm-hmm. I would say reviews, I just can't, and we're going to talk about this in a couple of slides, I think. Reviews are so important, not to just read, but really take to heart. Your guests are telling you. If they're saying that your Wi-Fi is not fast enough, that's a big impetus for you, especially if you're a corporate hotel, to do something about it. They're asking you to do something about it. And there's no better way to keep a guest on a long-term basis than to respond and take action on what they're requesting of you.
And I really like your guidance on read your competitors' Facebook pages and TripAdvisor reviews. That is going to tell you a lot about how to position your story.
Yeah. So more information on targeting to the corporate market. As Rupesh mentioned, the VFM, now transitioning to Visly, has the ability to customize digital brochures by market. We've actually have separate brochures for leisure, for weddings, and for corporate travelers. This is an example of one of our hotels and their corporate brochure. Once you've decided what your corporate story is, you apply the graphics associated with that. And then Visly/VFM, they're able to actually publish these out to corporate-specific channels such as Concur and CMED.
And as you were saying, Melissa, it's you add as part of the story, it's multimedia. You know, there are tabs. It's easy to navigate. And then Rupesh mentioned this as well. When you expand this chevron, it gives you written descriptions that put context into what you're looking at.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Visly app really allows you to speak to the needs of that corporate traveler specifically, without actually interrupting that message with information that he may not need, such as some of your leisure amenities and services.
Mm-hmm.
So just a couple of best practices when you're developing your corporate story. Make sure you're highlighting all of the features business travelers care most about. Be clear, be descriptive. As we've talked a bit about in the past few slides, go mobile. If you're not mobile, this is 2015 the time to do it. Ensure your website is optimized. Almost everyone has a mobile device these days. And that's where a lot of the research and even now booking is happening. So offer mobile-only specials is another way to target that mobile audience. And operationally, you want to find ways of personalizing the guest experience. So what are the most important things or amenities in order to customize your message to the corporate traveler? Not too surprising. Access to travel experts 24/7, being able to book any time of the day. Free Wi-Fi is a biggie. Free and or on-site dining. Convenient location, and loyalty programs. Loyalty programs mainly because of the convenience factor and efficiency. Some hotels allow you to check in from your phone if you're part of the loyalty program, that kind of thing. So social media. Many people say social media for targeting corporate travelers. Why? Well, again, as it was alluded to both from Nathan and Rupesh, it's many times the same traveler, or they're traveling on business and pleasure. So they are there on social media. 52% post photos and videos during their travel. to social media. There are over 150 million reviews. 70% of Americans read reviews before booking. That is amazing.
And I think for a lot of people, Melissa, it's sort of counterintuitive. They think that, and I hear this over and over again, so I'm so glad you're bringing this up. Social is so important to business travelers, and as you point out, business travelers are leisure travelers. They're one and the same person, so naturally they're going to be interested in social. It's just the type of trip that they're on, right? So it's the context of the trip.
Mm-hmm. And again, the power of reviews. We're going to talk a few minutes on another slide about reviews, but 70% of people booking make a decision and read reviews before booking. So that's an enormous number. The volume of users talking about travel on social, 620 million plus conversations are related to travel on Twitter. 284 plus million monthly active users on Twitter. Another note is hotel is actually mentioned on Twitter consistently throughout the week, but peaking Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So if you're on Twitter, you might gear your tweets to those specific days of the week where people are most interested. On Facebook, there's over 1 billion users, 1 billion with a B. 70% of the Facebook users update their page while on vacation or traveling. And these vacationers obviously are also corporate users. We found that Facebook is probably one of the best ways to increase your engagement with guests, meaning it's interactive. You know, it's not like email where you send an email and then you have to guess whether they open it or you get your statistics later, weeks later. Photos and special offers typically drive more engagement than text, more interesting and more engaging. Engagement on Facebook is higher than almost any other type of communication. And hotels, obviously, with more fans, get more engagement. So this is another of our business apps through Visly. And it is a corporate-driven app for Facebook. So not only do we have a corporate brochure, we also have a Facebook app that is corporate targeted. The visuals and videos we found, again, increase engagement more on Facebook than any other method, so that's very important to have professional photos. As you can see, it's fairly easy to navigate with the navigation tools at the top. There are detailed descriptions of the media that you can put in there, and it allows you to book right from the Facebook platform without leaving. So convenient to booking.
And Melissa, just to clarify, Dana's asking, do you have to click on the app separately, or is this page one of your Facebook pages?
This, the graphic that you're seeing here is one of our Facebook pages, and under the applications that you can load, right under the header, you see timeline, you see about the business, you see a book now button, which is separate, and this one is you can see it right there is meetings, and so they click on meetings, and then this is the app that would pop up.
Great, thanks, Melissa.
This is another Facebook app from another hotel, again showing you the visuals. And again, on the visuals, you want to make sure that you do have compelling pictures. Compelling meaning they need to be professional, they need to be high quality. In the era of iPhones and Androids that take decent pictures, that's great for having a lot of pictures on your timeline and publishing pictures, but when you're looking at apps like these, you really need to have great quality photos. It draws the travelers in and increases engagement.
And an interesting point, and a couple of people have asked, one of the beauties of this, as your slide points out, is the app is integrated into the Facebook pages, so it encourages the booking without actually leaving your Facebook pages. Mm-hmm. And so this so this application that's available from Leonardo can be integrated right into the page. So pretty convenient because you want to keep your consumers, that's what social is all about, right? Keeping your consumers engaged and stuck to you.
So success in your social media really involves three steps. You want to build, listen, and care. Build, people are following you because they're interested in you. Nurture your advocates. Build your base. Listen to them. We always want to know what people are thinking and saying about us. Social media engagement allows us to do this. And additionally, if you're truly listening to them, it allows us to provide above and beyond customer service. Care. The number one reason customers are talking to you on social media is because they want you to care about them. They want to know that you're listening and going to do something in reaction to what they're saying. Mobile. We've mentioned this several times throughout the webinar. So important now. 704 million active users are currently accessing Facebook through their mobile devices. And in 2010, it was just 100 million. So it's growing by leaps and bounds. As we've discussed earlier, having a mobile optimized site that's easy to navigate on your mobile phone is very important as well. There's 456 million mobile-only users, people who do not even have a desktop or laptop. They do everything on their phone.
You know, that's interesting. I read a stat recently that of the billion or so Facebook users, 70% of them access Facebook from a mobile phone and are not accessing it from a desktop. So a lot of people have sent in comments, you know, how important is mobile, et cetera, et cetera. It's critical, guys. So, you know, you need to jump on the mobile bandwagon.
Again, if you haven't done it, 2015 would be your year. The power of reviews. We talked about this a little bit earlier through some slides as well. Really, really so important to read, respond, and address the reviews. 83% of travelers say TripAdvisor reviews make them more confident in their travel decisions. 62% of travelers say management responses to reviews make them more likely to book. That means that, you know, even if it's a negative review, the fact that you've actually responded appropriately will entice that guest more likely to book your hotel. 87% of travelers have an improved opinion of a hotel after reading an appropriate management response to a bad review. 87%. Wow. 70% of travelers are less likely to book a hotel with an aggressive defensive response. So not only is it important to respond, it's really important that it's an appropriate non-defensive response. Note when you're responding to these reviews that other people are reading them. You don't want to get defensive. You don't want to get blaming. You want to have an appropriate professional response.
That's right. And, you know, there's that old adage, right? Things are going to go wrong, and, you know, things just happen. And it's how you recover and how you handle that people remember.
And it's not only, I mean, one of the great things, I don't have it mentioned here, one of the great things that a couple of the sites allow you to, TripAdvisor is one of them and Yelp is another, it allows you not only to put a public response, which is consumable by everyone reading the reviews, very important, it also allows you a private response where you can have an individual private conversation with the person posting the review. There's a huge power in that, in the ability to convert that specific guest, turn them around, and make that negative a positive.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Great guidance, Melissa. And again, tons of questions from the audience. So what you were talking about was clearly hitting a chord with all the folks in the audience. So to recap what Melissa told us, highlight the amenities that business travelers care about. It's not just about the free Wi-Fi, although that is important, but it's about the experiences that will make their trips efficient and smooth. And then you can engage corporate travelers, and you should engage corporate travelers on social media. You just need to adapt your story to the right channel because, as Melissa pointed out, corporate travelers, leisure travelers, same person, and they're all on social in huge, huge numbers. And then finally remember that, as I just said, corporate travelers are just leisure travelers, all dressed up or in some cases, just dressed down for work. And at the end of the day, they also want an experience. So at this point, we're going to take a couple of more questions, but I want to ask you, the audience, for one more poll, to participate in one more poll, and it helps us determine what you thought of today's content. So the poll question is, based on today's content, will you attend a future webinar? So 3 answers to choose from: yes, for sure I will, I'm on the fence, I don't know, or nah, this wasn't up my alley, so not likely to attend another one. So again, it helps us gauge the quality of the content, but also it really helps us gauge, are the topics we're talking about interesting and important to the masses? So thank you for sharing that with us. The majority of folks have weighed in, and by and large, everybody enjoyed themselves today and thought that the content was valuable. So we really appreciate that. There were a number of questions throughout our presentation today that asked about product. And so if you'd like to learn more about how to target your prospective guests and how you can benefit from Visly, which is the multi-channel digital marketing system that Melissa and Rupesh are using for their properties, please let us know, and I'm going to share contact information with you in a second. Visly helps engage travel shoppers by creating relevant and powerful stories about your hotel rooms, their unique features, and the promotions you have, because that will help you increase conversion and get more bookings. And then once those stories are built, make sure that they reach the millions of travel shoppers consistently by publishing them everywhere you find them. They're finding your hotel online. So whether that is corporate booking tools like Egencia or your own website, the mobile sites that we know are hugely important, social media sites, and just in your digital brochures that get published on the hundreds of travel websites that consumers are using, because it helps you communicate the value that you're providing so that you just don't sell on price. And Visly makes it easy for you to set yourself apart from the competition so that the shopper chooses your property with the confidence that it's the right choice for them. So next month's webinar is going to be on the topic of social, in particular how to get more value from Twitter, Vine, and Facebook. And as I said up front, we have recorded today's webinar, and we're going to send you a link to that recording that you can share with your colleagues or listen to again at your leisure. So at this point, we are right at the end of our time with you today. Thanks, Nathan Brooks from Egencia. Very, very helpful information and great industry perspective. Rupesh Patel from Zenique Hotels, as always. Great information and really good guidance for the properties. And Melissa, you brought it home today with the specific examples you were using across your properties, and you guys are doing a terrific job on targeting, so thanks for sharing all of that with us. Thank you to everyone for joining us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It is Thursday, which is really the new Friday. So everyone have a good rest of your week or start your weekend early. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you next month. Bye-bye.